They say, defense wins championships. We're here in Dallas. We got a top 10. When the hot boys hit the field, this is what we tell them. Listen what we tell them. This is what we tell them. Go to work, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See, clock in, yeah, it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work. Yeah, it's time to go to work. Down, clock in, clock in, down, clock in, clock in, down, clock in, clock in. Yeah, it's time to go to work. See my defense, they on the field right now. Yeah, my defense, they yelling 3 and now. Yeah, my defense, they don't like your quarterback. So my defense, all trying to get them sacks.
Top of the evening, y'all. It's your boy B Jizzle and the cast of the new BIG3 and BIGD, and we're gonna get to that in just a second. But shout out to the guy, Star Boy out there in DFW, big time supporter of Built Different Group. We're here on the Throwback Thursday. We got some news that broke today. And of course, you know, we're going to throw it right to the ladies first, because I think she's fresh off a podcast about the new hire in Dallas. Let me just drop it to my girl, Kales. What's your thoughts on the new hire?
I like it. He was one of my top picks. Hold on, I'm sharing. Yeah, he was one of my top picks. This is definitely a shoddy hire.
You know, a lot of people are assuming this thing. This is Jerry Jones calling this guy a cheap hire. Boy, I'm telling you, the casuals are getting separated here really quickly.
Well, I'll run his resume, but I want to hear what Bob thinks.
All right, let's throw it down there to my guy Bob in Colorado. Man, it seems like everybody about to get some snow, especially in Colorado. How we doing down there, Bob?
Listen, man, I'm saying if it's gonna snow, and when it does, it will only be the second time this winter that it has. This is insane, man. I'm telling you. Again, I'm not complaining out loud because it's gonna happen.
Is hell freezing over in Dallas? I mean, what are your thoughts on this new hire? I mean, we got one from the ops, dog.
And you know what? It's always a good thing when you see that happen, right? Because you got to say to yourself, all right, what kind of information is he going to bring over? Not really going to bring a whole hell of a lot over, I don't think. You know, the thing about it is since I don't pay a lot of attention to really any other teams, I didn't know who this guy was. I had to do a little bit of digging. And when I did dig, I realized he was with the Super Bowl winning team, the Philadelphia Eagles, their last Super Bowl. He led their defense to a #1 passing yards allowed in 2024, developing people like Pat Surtain and Justin Simmons in the meantime. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it takes for a team to hold on to a coordinator like this, but apparently we did some luring in some way, shape, or form and threw a lot more money at him maybe. But the guy seems like he knows what he's doing. The one thing specifically we have a problem with is our passing game. We can still tweak a couple things here and there to stop the run because our defensive line is actually pretty good now. Our linebackers are sus as hell other than one or so, maybe two. But to have a good coach back there with the defensive backs is going to be huge. We need to get back to the days of Diggs and Bland and and having these guys actually making plays and jumping the ball and doing stuff like that and having confidence to do it. I understand Diggs was hurt and all that good stuff, but the coordinator, our defensive coordinator, wasn't doing anything to make it better. So this guy actually might be a pedigree that we need. He's definitely a rising star in terms of coaching. And I didn't know that either because I don't care about the Eagles. But he did do some great things with them, did some great things with Denver. So, I mean, I'm really excited. It could very well be a shoddy hire. And if that's the case, hell yeah. Make things better for – I mean, I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear anybody but Jerry hiring somebody, if I'm being honest.
Hello.
People moving – and the people that are in the front office with the players that are on boots on ground, that are out there in the trenches, those are the guys that need to be pulling these coordinators and stuff in, not an owner. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, man. And I'm thinking if we do some good things in the draft and we do some free agency moves, we're going to be right there in contention next year and might take the division.
Hey, you know about the good thing about being on the bottom is, Kales, where our defense was ranked last season with this new hire, is that ain't nowhere to go for him but up. You said that he was one of your guys on your short list. I mean, this was not somebody I seen as hiring. Hell, everybody was screaming Jim Leonard and also, Durante Jones and also whoever. So, but people are saying he has not one lick of experience as a coordinator, and it was a cheap hire. So what are your thoughts on those folks that are doubting the hire and also the inexperience of our guy, Christian Parker?
So what I can say is these people don't know what they're talking about. That's one. Run him. Right. I know him from the MEAC and the CIAAs. He came from Virginia State. He was a defensive backs coach there. Virginia State Trojan, which is also known as Big State, is a CIAA. I want to say they are a Division I school. And then he left from there, and then he went to Little State, which is another family school of mine. That's Norfolk State University. And he was the defensive backs coach there from 2015 to 2016. So I am very well familiar with the Christian Parker. Very well.
So is Sterling Sellers down here tapping in. Kel says he's a product of an HBCU.
No, he's a product as far as coaching, but he went to Richmond. That's the college he went to. But he's from he is from Jersey. And he did go to Battlefield High School, which is in Virginia. So I do know him from the HBCU days. I'm very, very well familiar with him. And if anybody wants some more detail about this man, he's the one that snatched Patrick Surtain up from under us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, because I'm going to play this in the background with no sound. A lot of folks didn't realize he was with the Denver Broncos, and you see what that defense is currently doing as they led the league in sacks this season. I mean, I know he's in the pass game, the secondary pass game coordinator position there too, which I'm going to get to a question I want to ask you about here, Kels. But Bob, I mean, this guy is with Denver, and then, he's got 12 years of coaching experience. I mean, this guy has been coaching since he's like 20. And he's 30-something. He's 34. I think he's like the half as young as the average coordinator we've hired in Dallas over the last 4 years.
Yeah, and it's not a name that I heard. When I heard some, White Cotton was actually one of the guys, obviously internally, but I heard that name. I heard other names. I did not hear this guy's name at all. Maybe he just wasn't making himself known that he was on the. He
was interviewed, right, Kels? He was interviewed by the Cowboys, because the slander's already there. Oh, the Cowboys didn't even interview him.
He was one of the first ones to be interviewed. He was in the first pool.
Okay, thank you for clarification, Bob.
Yeah, I think this guy actually is a really, really good players coach too. I think he just happens to. The players love playing for him, from what I've been finding out, and these are good players that like to play for him too. So again, it's just a couple things that we needed to tweak this season that just passed. One of them, bigger than anything, defensive backs. Corners and safeties right now need to be addressed. That position needs to be addressed. Getting our DC, who is basically cornerback safety forward, is amazing. We can't ask for anything better. That should be shored up right away. We should see no more Burns. Well, we got rid of Diggs, so we're not going to see a lot of those anyway. But we shouldn't see Burns anymore. We shouldn't see a lot of this downfield stuff on us. There should be a lot more intelligent plays being made. And if we can get a couple linebackers in there, and just tighten a few things up, I think this is going to look like a genius move. And it feels like it already is, if I'm being honest, man. That's just kind of the way Jerry is. He doesn't really. I feel like the last big name I remember being pulled into this organization was Bill Parcells, and that was ages ago. So
definitely, Kels. And I think you bring up a great point. 2 weeks ago, as we started the DC searching here, we thought it would be a great idea for the Cowboys to make sure they hired a DC sooner than later. Now, I know a lot of folks were hung up on that guy Leonard, but he's still with the Broncos, and if they win this weekend, that extends his schedule out another 2 weeks, which we're going to miss. What people are missing, I think, here is this East-West Shrine Bowl on the 30th, and also on the 27th, rather, and then the Senior Bowl on the 30th. I don't think folks are seeing the fact here that this is important, that we've made this hire because of these two major events heading into the draft with pick 12 and pick 20 in the first round.
Yeah. Okay, so let me run back. because I did listen to a lot. I had a phone call, so I apologize. So the 14th, January 14th, the Cowboys requested permission to interview him.
Philly had to be out of contention for us to do that, right?
No, I think they were still in contention.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, it's a window time that they have to do it. Okay. So by them requesting it, it was a virtual one. Normally the virtual ones, you get 3 hours. So you could do a full 3 hours, or you could split it, where you could do an hour and a half here and an hour and a half there. The thing is, you cannot interview. This is for the whole entire league. If you are in a playoff run, you cannot interview for any coaching position during the practice window. So this had to be orchestrated on like an off day. So let's just say, like for us, if we were in playoff contention, the Cowboys' regular off day is Tuesday. So if anybody wanted to interview any of our coaching staff, they have to do it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, very small window.
Yeah. So he interviewed very well, just like
Durante Jones and Jim Leonard, Leonhard, however you say his name.
He wasn't called back. Parker was
there was a whole bunch of reporters that was all in. You ready to bust the budget on our guy Leonard? I was like, man, how? Why? Because that importance of him playing with the Broncos this weekend, and if they go to the Super Bowl, that's another week. That means we can't hire him.
Who's the hold on, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
We're talking about the guy for Denver who's currently still in the playoffs, the defensive backs coordinator, passing game coordinator over there, Jim Leonard. Yeah, there's a whole lot of folks on him.
I'm thinking
man, you're talking about Josh Gannon, one of the, because it was a wide net. There were actually 9 coaches, I believe, that were interviewed. The total was up to 9, so they did cast a very wide net, Bob, and that seems like unlike Jerry.
I'm thinking of Vance Joseph for some reason. But yeah, Leonard, he wasn't called back for a second interview.
Take that.
So yeah, I can tell you the ones that interviewed very well was Aaron Whitecotton, Durante Jones, Christian Parker, and Zachary Orr. Out of all of them in order, the ones that stood out the most, it was a tie between Zachary Orr from Baltimore, Christian Parker, and Aaron Whitecotton.
Yeah, now you made a comment in the chat earlier today, Kels, and I wanted to ask you this and get your reaction here live tonight. You said if we keep Aaron Whitecotton, is a potential that we could lose him going into this next season?
Yeah, so the way that this past coaching staff was, there was not a 10-year contract where you have some years. It seems like with this one, he's going to have some years on his contract. And to piggyback to what Bob just said, this is the one time I wish, like I said, I wish Diggs did not fall into the pit he was in as far as character-wise, because he would be good with Christian Parker.
Well, since you said his name, what's your thoughts about his release? I find like, is he really that hurt? Why did the Green Bay in your eyes let him go that quick? That was quick over there.
It's funny you said that too, Kels, because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh shit, we just got a specialist in. Maybe we could have pulled something out, but I think it's all physical with Trayvon right now. I don't think it's an ability thing. Well, obviously one leads to the other, but
yeah,
I felt the same way. I was like, damn, he might have been all right if we kept this guy around.
Here's the thing. This release was similar to like what the Cowboys did with Ezekiel Elliott with his last run with us. and he went to the Chargers because the Chargers was in playoff contention.
Right.
Oh, they let him go a year early, and then they ended up bringing him back. You know what I mean? Kind of balance the books or something.
Well, no, he was already on the books of getting paid anyway. So you might as well just bring him back. He was already going to get $6 million off of us anyway. So that's why they brought him back. And yeah, we still needed a running back because Tony Pollard was no longer there.
Yeah, that was a little crazy situation.
Yeah. So, and there was really not a high that in that year when we brought him back. It was not a high. It wasn't a lot of running backs coming out of that draft class anyway. But we already have a running back on our dead money books that was going to get $6.5 million. So you might as well just bring him back.
All right. With that being said, there's been a lot of folks been asking me, especially earlier today when the news broke, Kels, and I want to ask you this because I know you're the X's and O's expert here with the intels. What kind of scheme is Christian Parker going to run?
Zone, baby. Zone, baby.
Ask me, because this is how all this going to tie in with the draft. So while they were interviewing, okay, just in case there was not a a defensive coordinator by the time that these bowls were to take place, they knew what kind of players that they were looking for. So the scouting team could be on deck, and they knew what type of scheme that they were going to run. So that brings me back to this. Christian, hold on. Oh, I just got locked out of my computer. Hold on.
Yeah, everybody's been asking, Bob. I don't know what's your thoughts while she's, dealing with the technology we all do.
I got it. All right. So this is a little bit of stuff that I have on him. So, Parker runs a defensive scheme heavily influenced by the Vic Fangio school of defense. So we are going to see some cover 6 with this team.
Okay, cover 6 out there. There we go. There's a start, folks.
His approach is characterized by a versatile 3-3-4 front, heavily usage of a 2-high safety shell, which I really like, and pre-snap deceptions designed to limit big plays. So what we're going to see with this particular DC is the defense is going to look so different. So when it comes to the communication piece, the pre-snap is going to look so different from the post-snap. It's not going to be the same. So in other words, for layman's terms, for those, so I could make football for dummies book. Not calling anyone a dummy. I'm
dummy kills. Come on.
I'm gonna just simplify it.
We're gonna change the colors to yellow here for next week.
Say Quinion Williams, right? Quinion Williams. He's going when it's time for the pre-snap. He may be on the right side. But as soon as the ball snaps, he is going to whip his way. Jadeveon Clowney, if he's still here, is going to go in the opposite way, and Quinion is going to end up on the left side. So that means we're going to see a whole bunch of disguises and confusion for the opposing offense.
Oh, let me just throw the ball real quick.
I like twists. I like curls on the D line. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, hell yeah. Bring that out. Bring all that kinds of shit. That's
some window dressing, right?
It's going to get nasty, and I love it nasty.
Listen, we were talking about this when we just did this podcast about the possible 18-game season. We spoke about making sure we at least had a DC for this draft because we want all of this to get tied in. I mean, God. And then you asked me, what do I think we need to draft first? And I said cornerback right away, and then probably a safety. And then now we get to hear that the defensive backs coach for the Eagles is now our DC. You cannot be setting yourself up for a better 12th and 20th pick in the first round right now with this defense than having someone right now with us ready to go, regardless whether whether he's available or whether he's ready to roll, whatever.
No, his input is warranted. Now we needed a DC in pocket, especially with this Shrine Bowl and also the Senior Bowl coming up.
Right, yeah. And so already broke down. And what I'll do is I will post this, and since I now have access to Build Different Group,
Yeah.
I will post this summarization of what I have about him. So we talked about the disguises, the confusing opposing quarterbacks for pre and post snap. This is okay, so this is how it's going to tie in with the draft. Y'all ready?
Bring it.
Let's go.
We're going to see pattern match coverage. Even though he is a predominantly zone defensive coordinator. Hold on for a minute. Talk real quick.
Yeah. All right, Bob, as we got the official draft order is out now. Kels is busy. Kels just came off a podcast, and she came on our podcast. We got the big three back together. How you feeling about this official selection order? I mean, 12 and 20 with our new guy in pocket, Bob.
That predominantly zone scared the shit out of me. But you know what? Maybe we're going to find different ways to do. Again, if we're talking, let's just match the age up against Eberflus and this guy. There's a lot of difference in age between there. This guy's a young kid in terms of coaching anyway, I believe. But he's been around coaching for a while. I think this is really good, man. The longer I dove into this, the better I started feeling about it. And again, I'm not trying to blow this up to be the reason we're going to be amazing next season, but it's going to be part of the reasons why we're going to turn around for sure. We're definitely going to be a turnaround team. If he brings us into the draft room and pulls all this through, forget it. I mean, it's going to be good to have a defensive coordinator that's a DB coach, pick the DBs that we're going to get drafted, and then see what we can do in free agency. It's going to be a beautiful thing, I think.
I mean, Cooper DeJean came out and said, without him, he wouldn't be where he was at. Y'all seen what he did with Cooper DeJean as a rookie. If I'm not mistaken, then Cooper DeJean had like a pick six in the Super Bowl that year. They won it with Vic Fangio and him there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what he did, and I'm going to circle back. Somebody was at my door. I apologize.
It's all good.
So with Cooper DeJean, when he was drafted, this menace to society, Christian Parker, moved him from the outside to the inside, which turned that whole defense around. So we're going to see a lot of that. So which means if Bland is up and ready to go, don't be surprised if you will see Bland rotating on the outside in and inside out. So back to what I was saying. So we're going to see some pattern match coverages. Like I said, even though Christian Parker is a predominantly zone DC, just like Flus, he has the capability to change. So we're going to see a lot of when it comes to the secondary, a lot of versatility when it comes to the secondary. And he also, even though he does run a 3-4 base scheme, he still favors the 5-man front, which I kind of think that they're going to bring the Davian Clowney back for that. So I say all of this to say, when it comes to the draft, what I provided BG and Bob with, when it comes to the way that this draft board is going to look, they are going to look at hybrid cornerbacks. So you're going to see a lot of cornerbacks that's going to come out this year's draft that plays both zone and man press. So you will see some of this on the 27th at the Shrine Bowl, as well on the 31st at the Senior Bowl. I did provide a list of and there's some players, I have the whole entire list of the players, the prospects that the coaches and scouting department will be looking at. Some of them will not be participating in either of the bowls, but you will see them when it comes to the combine, as well as their pro days. So when it comes to the cornerbacks, let's see. So let's do the Shrine Bowl since that's
Yeah, we got the Shrine Bowl link up in the background too as well. If you didn't know, the 27th, for those who are wondering, why did we hurry to sign this guy? Why didn't we wait for Leonard from the Broncos? Why didn't we wait for Al Harris? Why didn't we wait? Or why didn't we go get Brian Flores or whatever? Look, we needed a DC so we can evaluate this talent. This Shrine Bowl is going down, Bob, at the Star in Frisco. And I'm thinking, Cowboys are not seeing the size of this. That's huge, especially for all of our eyes in the building to be on said talent from both sides at the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
He can't win. Jerry ain't going to win, man. He's going to either making decisions too slow or too fast. Somebody's going to say something. Oh, they jumped on it too quickly. I mean, we can't just sit around and wait for shit to happen because we've already seen how that just doesn't really work for us. You know what I mean? Like, He jumped on it. We moved. This guy's available. He has accolades. He's been doing great things as a coach. Get him.
He's a trending. He's a young mind. This is definitely a shoddy hire, as Kales opened up the show and said this was the guy on our short list. I didn't see him coming in anywhere. Everybody was screaming Leonard and all this other stuff, but
Leonard,
I like it.
About it.
Leonard wasn't asked back for a second interview, so that tells you a lot right there. But when it comes to this, so let's look at the defensive side of the ball. So like I said, when it comes to the cornerbacks, you're going to see hybrids. So they're going to be playing both zone and man press. So for when it comes to the cornerbacks for the Shrine Bowl, be on the lookout for Damani Jackson out of Alabama and Syair Wright out of Nebraska. A fun fact about Syair Wright from Nebraska, he is an actor.
Oh, just what the Cowboys need for our next Netflix, Bob. 2.0 next summer.
I would not say that much.
Okay. Never mind. Jump to conclusions.
Yeah, very much. He is a man press corner. So he is an actor, and he played LeBron James' son in Space Jam 2.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow, small world, huh?
So when
Jerry recruiting for a different team.
This basically means my boy Sonny Styles is out of the Cowboys contention, because if we're going to go,
I wouldn't say that, and I'm gonna jump to that. I'm trying to save some of this stuff when we do our
first episode on February 15th.
So I'm not going to give a lot away.
She held the cards.
When it comes to safeties, for the Shrine Bowl, so he's going to be mixing and matching. So we're going to see some strong safeties as well as some free safeties. So for the Shrine Bowl on the 27th, be on the lookout for Bishop Fitzgerald. He is a strong safety from USC. Dylan Thiemann, he's a free safety from Oregon. And free safety Ahmad Moses from SMU. And when we look at the edges, we're looking at Mateo Ulagali from Oregon, defensive, and Anthony Lucas from USC, Damone Wilson, the second from Missouri, and Patrick Payton from LSU. They do have some defensive tackles that they are interested in, but they are not playing in either bowls. I can give you some of their names. I really like Dante Corleone from Cincinnati. I lied. Oh, well, he's going to be at the Senior Bowl. So these are the Senior Bowl ones. But for the Shrine Bowl, which is on the 27th, there is no tackles that they're interested in. Here's a fun fact. The Senior Bowls are basically your top 100s that you will see. I should have started off with that because that's important. The East-West Shrine Bowl, is your top 300. So these are the ones that's going to go in the later rounds. Like your day 2s and your day 3s. The Senior Bowls is your top 100. So these are ones that will be first graded players, which is your first round, and a little bit of the high second round picks.
I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of that. Thank you for that information. I literally did not know any of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She got all the entails, Bob.
And
That's insane.
Sometimes you will see a player playing in both bowls because they're right behind each other. So the 27th is what, a Monday or Tuesday?
Let me get to my paper calendar here. The 27th is a Tuesday.
Like
next Tuesday.
So it's always like that last Tuesday. So the East West Shrine Bowl is always that last Tuesday. So once that game ends, they will hop on the plane, go to Mobile, and they play in
the Panini
in the Senior Bowl. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have seen players that have done that as well. We don't normally draft. Yes, we have drafted a safety.
Thank you for getting that. That's one of our green badges. Jay Nichols right there supporting the content. Yeah, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about that.
We have drafted Byron Jones.
I was going to say Byron was the last one we did, I think.
Don't Byron Jones hold the world record for the longest broad jump or something like that?
Yes.
I think it's high jump.
He still do.
Woo! Hello. Great context though, Jay.
Yeah.
He definitely shined in that combine. The combine is the reason why we grabbed him for sure. We were probably sold on him, but his combine numbers were insane. So he's another one that just didn't pan out 100%. He still did good, but injuries.
Yeah. And then the only reason why I'm giving you some of these names to look out for for the Shrine Bowl is because these are the players that Christian Parker is heavily banging his head on the table for. We'll get into the Senior Bowl a little bit later. When it comes
great that you bring up the players because we got our one of our resources that we'll be using on the podcast starting February 15th on our first episode. We're going to be kicking it off with BPA. Now we all want defense, but there's a scenario called BPA, but this will be the resource that we'll use, NFLDraftBuzz.com. It kind of matches the colors. I like it. We used it here first. Baby. We used it here first last year. I know, you said safeties, cornerbacks, Bob. Who if you could have your way, Bob, who would you take first round at 12 right now? Do you know?
Honestly, I don't know enough about. I didn't look that deep into corners to try and look at that. But again, that linebacker out of Ohio, Sonny Styles, is absolutely insane. And I think having him and Overshown on the same team would be a real problem for people. But I don't know that. I mean, I don't think that he's going to drop to 12. And even if we did, I feel like we pull a cornerback with that pick. So
here's the thing. I'm down for Caleb Downs. If he drops to 12, I have a feeling that Caleb Downs is going to go to Kansas City. I think they're number 9 on the draft board. But if he's not there, then definitely get Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles will still be on the board. But the thing is,
it's almost like too extravagant to take a linebacker at that position. That's too high for a linebacker.
The one thing I like about Sonny Styles is he is like Demo. He is a hybrid safety. He's a safety turned linebacker, which means you're going to see him. He will move up and down the field a lot
he's not going to get burnt by a tight end. It's not going to happen.
By a tight end, yeah. But the thing is, we need a middle linebacker. That's my only thing.
Well, that brings up our second great tool as you see it here in the background here. I'll share that link in the comments. First, you got NFLDraftBuzz.com, and we also got NFL Draft Simulator. So that way you can try to figure out and pick your top 8 picks because I think right now we're currently still sitting at 8 picks, right, Kels? And is that going to go up, yes or no?
So here's my thing, because we're in it's been a while where we have had both draft capital and trade equity.
Unfamiliar territory.
And it's been a while since we've had both. Now, all teams need to enter into the draft with a minimum of $15 million. I think I stressed that.
You have pontificated on that enough here.
Yeah. So, but now we have trade equity. Our trade equity is that 20th pick from Green Bay.
It's big because we only have 2 firsts, and we sit around on our hands for the second and third.
We don't have a second and a third, and that's the only thing I hate about how we're drafting this year, because with that Micah Parsons trade, even though I like what we got, we should have gotten more. We should have gotten like another linebacker like Edgerrin Cooper. We should have gotten him. And we should have gotten not only 2 first-round picks, we should have gotten 2 second-round picks as well. That's the only thing I don't like about it. And we gave up our third. We gave up our third pick for Pickens. So the thing is, if we don't keep Pickens, we still get another draft pick, but it's not going to be a high draft pick. It's not going to be in the 3rd round. It's going to be like a compensatory pick in the 4th or the 5th. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, because the cream of the crop, when you look at it as far as drafting, the cream of the crop is going to be your 4th and your 5th round. Now, what happens, if we don't keep Javonte Williams? Then we're still up shitholes creek, because this draft is not a lot of running backs coming out of this year's draft. So that's another issue that we have right there. I would not be surprised if later in the rounds, like one of the picks in the 6th or the 7th, or maybe an undrafted free agent, we get a quarterback. And the only reason saying, and the only reason why I'm saying that, because I'm telling you, it's coming from the horse's mouth. They're not confident, and even though they like the guys that they have, they're not confident in the backups we have now.
Which brings up a great scenario, Bob, because I want to ask you this as Sterling's tapping in here right now. So we talk about the players, we talk about the draft. Someone will fall or change the draft order, and then BPA enters the chat. Ooh, could you imagine if we draft the O-line or even a tight end from Michigan?
You put it out there, man. I thought we were going to repeat that. We're not going to say that again. Yeah, man, we're not. I don't feel like that's going to happen, but you're right. I mean, listen, we still have the same owner. We still have the same owner's sons.
Be so Dallas Cowboys, would it not? Oh, we need defense, offensive lineman.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see it happen. Especially with the new DC hire. But again, we don't know. I still feel like that we've got a great coaching mind. We've got a great war room. We make some really good decisions. Of course, we've flopped on a few, but every team flops on a few. I think we've had more successes than most teams, if I'm being honest. But I'm not afraid going into this draft. If offense was a necessity, however, I would be a little afraid of this upcoming draft, because it's not really too offensive heavy. It's really more defense, especially if we're talking about high rounds. So I'm seeing how things are lining up right now. We got a defensive back coach as our defensive coordinator now going into the draft, where we got 12 and 20, and our needs are where his position skills lie. So I'm feeling good about this. I really am. And again, if we tick somebody else, that means that our guys up front thought it was a better pick. And what the hell can you do about it? I mean, just don't let it be a tight end from Michigan.
Jay's tapping back in and says, I think there's a possibility that the Cowboys will franchise George Pickens. Any intels from your side? What are you hearing about that? Because I know Todd Archer floated that, and it's kind of been out there. I talked about it, not officially. Do you see GP on the TAG?
It's better to tag than to trade, because like I said, when it comes to trade equity, he's not going to get a lot of trade value for Pickens.
Yeah.
Great question there.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope we find a way to retain him. But if I'm being honest, it would be such a Cowboys thing to happen. A guy comes on our team for 1 year and blows up and then goes somewhere else. But I just don't see it happen, especially the relationship he's got with CD, that he's been practicing with CD in the offseason for years now. I just think there's enough there where they're going to try and keep this kid. And he's also just enough of an unstable person to fit right into this team, if I'm being honest. Jerry's got to have one guy that's like a Charles Haley at all times. There needs to be one guy that's close to that. And Pickens, I think, is a lot more misunderstood and intelligent than he is crash out. But something happens to wide receivers in Pittsburgh anyway. So I hope we retain him.
Yeah, and then with that also, too, we got to pay our kicker the best in the league. Butter, any intels on that, Kels, where you see that going out with him?
That's the thing, like, who's going to get franchise tag quicker? So the thing is, hold on, dude. Let me pull up. So Butter is
yeah, but they're saying, I'm hearing people saying he probably gonna be the highest paid kicker in the league. I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah. So
$25 million a year.
So he's a restricted free agent. Javonte Williams, George
Ananias, whose team was you on here? Really though, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kels. I'm just messing with Ananias.
No. None of that shit. Stop that.
Javonte Williams, Pickens, Clowney, and Dante Fowler. I don't see him staying on the team. They're unrestricted free agents. Brandon Aubrey is the only restricted free agent. So the way that works out is he can go to other teams, see what they have to offer, and then he can bring it back and say, okay, front office of the Cowboys, this is what the Broncos is offering me. What you gonna do to match that?
Eric Taylor says Aubrey getting that second round tender. Kels, can you talk to that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a restricted free agent. So
there you go.
So if he goes, so the thing is, the Cowboys will put an offer out first.
So they can match it, right? He can go out and shop and bring it back, and the Cowboys can punch it, so we can keep it.
This is what the Broncos, and this is what New York Giants is offering me. So what are you going to do to top that? If the Cowboys can't top that because there's other needs on the team, then he could go to wherever he wants. But the thing is, the one thing about the kicker position is not going to bring a dent to your salary cap.
Great segue, Bob. I want to ask you this question because we went from all in to now bust the budget. Is it same, or are we feeling different? Because like Kel said, we got $15 million to pay the rookies. We can pay our contracts. We have some money in the bank. We got picks. I mean, bust the budget, all in. Is it the same?
Wait a minute. He said Pickens would be perfect trade to Vegas, so they could pair
He's baiting.
Oh, no, yeah, crazy, everybody's drunk off the Indiana University stuff. But
what was your question, BG?
I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was. What did I ask?
Yeah, it happens like that.
It does. All right. I think we were talking about the Saquon scenario. I know Eric Taylor got a couple questions going on. Free agent.
If we are positive in terms of like Kel said, if we're going to be positive 20-35 million in free agency, the ability to
there
pay
we go. Yeah, all in and bust the budget.
Thing.
All in and bust the budget. This is this campaign lingo we got now. We're hearing we could bust the. Is it the bust the cap or the budget? One of the two.
I think.
But does it sound like all in?
No.
Look, we got Quentin Williams and George Pickens last year. That's pretty much freaking all in. I mean, I think there's a limit to what you can continue to do when we're talking about bringing names in. I don't really know what the free agency market's going to look like coming up this offseason, but I know that we'll probably do some small moves because we always do that. There needs to be camp heads. There needs to be people in there to fill roster positions. But I also think that we're going to be smart and maybe make a move for another key position. And we really don't know what those are going to be until we decide whether they're going to keep Javonte, if we're going to keep Pickens. Because if we got to draft a running back, like Kel said, that's a problem this year, man. So we're going to have to find a way to pay him.
It's not a lot coming out. And one thing that Shotty did tell Jerry, and he also mentioned it on the end of the season press conference, he does not want to go vanilla. and he wants to be aggressive and not cheap when it comes to free agency. And that's why this defensive coordinator piece was very, very important, because by Shoddy basically putting Jerry Jones' feet to the fire when it comes to this, he basically said, you're not going to do the same stuff to me like you did with others.
Ooh, not to Jason Garrett, not to Mike McCarthy. No.
Right. I don't know. He got McCarthy Dan Quinn. So
Shoddy got boundaries. I heard that. Go ahead, Shoddy.
He has a lot of boundaries to that. And that's why this defensive coordinator piece was like the highest thing to it, because this is how you're going to tell how this draft is going to set up. Because by us getting in, everyone keep talking about Jim Leonard, and I already told y'all he wasn't called back for a second interview.
This is the media program. Like I said, everybody was on it, but I was like, where are you getting your intel from?
Right. And I already said, I don't know how many times, how long we've been on, 45 minutes now. I already said that Zachary Orr, Aaron Whitecotton, Christian Parker, and Zachary Orr, Durante Jones, Aaron Whitecotton,
Josh Gannon.
No, hold on. Orr, Parker, Jones, and
Leonard.
And no, stop doing that. Or
which ones you trying to name?
I'm the ones that was called back for a second interview.
Oh, the second interview is okay. There's the key. My bad.
Or Whitecotton, Parker, and Durante Jones. Those four was the only ones that was called back for second interviews. So they knew, like I said, they knew what kind of players that they're interested in as far as drafting, free agency, and what kind of schemes they want to run. By us getting any of those four, it kind of leaves me that we're going to be heavily aggressive in free agency, and we're going to get a linebacker.
So that was be my next question. Was
a veteran linebacker, and we still need a veteran tackle,
because we got the free agency frenzy that kicks off mid-March. We got the draft to go through. There's going to be several layers of free agency, but to kick it off, first official day of the 2026 season, mid-March there when that free agency frenzy comes off. So, Kels, you're anticipating that the Cowboys probably going to go and grab a linebacker early in free agency?
Yeah, we have to, because by us drafting a linebacker, I would not suggest drafting a linebacker knowing that we need a linebacker early in the draft, because
Demo's finally getting the whole full healthy camp.
But the thing is, you're basically saying you're the end all and be all. Now, there was a time where we have drafted a linebacker. Let's say, for instance, here's a prime example. We drafted, which I think we jumped too high, and we got LVE, right?
Yeah, Leighton.
And he was
Wolf Hunter.
Yeah, and he still was going to be there, like in the second or third round. But the thing is, we already had two established veteran linebackers already on the team. Sean Lee, and I forgot the other one.
Was it Rolando or who?
So we already had those. So
Jalen Smith?
No, Jalen Smith came in 18.
I was having flashbacks. Linebacker.
Yeah, I think this was Rolando McClain or Brady James, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we had those. So we already had veteran presence when it came to the linebackers. But this time we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. And you can't say, oh well, we have DeMarvion Overshown, but the thing is, DeMarvion Overshown does not have a lot of skins on the wall when it comes to being on the field, because he was out his first 2 years.
Well, I like your theory going after a linebacker, especially veteran, because Bob, we don't have time to train, especially at some of these positions on defense. We ain't got time to draft and develop, right?
Yeah, that middle linebacker position, like Kels was saying, is really a big deal. Overshone's outside. It's a different game. You're covering a little bit more. You're a little bit more responsible for flats and running backs and stuff. Whereas the middle linebacker is going to be the second level, making sure runs don't get past them. So to have sort of like a dog to be able to do that is like a veteran that maybe is not too old, but's been in enough systems to be able to just pop them in there, give them a training camp and a whole offseason with us, and be able to at least do something better than Kenneth did. Geez, I don't even know what 59 was doing half the time he was on the field. So
yeah, Kenneth Murray's a sour taste among Cowboy fans.
Yeah,
right
man,
now.
It's not cool. It wasn't cool. He was just really bad, and I don't mean to shit on the dude, but he was just very bad.
I mean, it is what it is. But Anaya says, and I want to ask Kels, Jaguars got a badass middle linebacker that's now a free agent. Are you familiar? I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name, but I mean, I guess he's ending up. He may be potential somebody we need to look at. Maybe we need to put a list of veteran linebackers so the Cowboys can look at.
And for what Jay just said, no one is saying that he wasn't talked about. Granted, he was talked about, but the thing is, he wasn't a first grade talent, because LVE was similar to what RG3 was when he was drafted in 2012. They were both drafted too high, coming off of major injuries.
Cowboys was always in love with drafting somebody injured, named Jalen Smith, named LVE, named you insert.
Everybody. Yeah, because LVE not only had a serious neck injury, he also had a back injury. And what happened his first year? He got injured. His second year, he got injured. His third year, he was injured. His fourth year, he was injured. That's why the Cowboys did not they denied his 5th year option. They decided not to do that. So they just
Nakobe Dean, the linebacker in Philly, that'd be a good little grab for sure. That'd be a good tie-in.
Nakobe Dean will. That's a lot of draft. That's a lot of trade. That's a lot to trade, because he came in. Nakobe Dean came in 2022, 2023. That's a lot.
Well, that pretty much wraps it up. We've been almost here an hour strong. Kels coming straight off the job and swooping in. I want to be the first to say to both Kels and Bob here today, as we got the big three back indeed together again, although we will be kicking off the big two with our position predictions. I wanted to say thank both of y'all for this, this last season. I think we were locked in out of 15 out of 6 or 16 out of 17 games. So I tip my hat to both of y'all dedicating your time to the show. As fans, not getting paid to do this per se, but because you love your team. I just wanted to say thank y'all for, making this content what it is over here, because it's truly built different. We got Kels with her intel. So thank you very much for always coming in off the job, swooping in with your cape and dropping the intels on us here, because that's key going into our draft that we got this DC locked in now.
Yeah, and I'll drop the names for the Senior Bowl, because a lot of the ones that I'm loving, they will be in the playing in the Senior Bowl on the 31st, and they will be showing the practice of the Senior Bowl next week. I forgot what time. It's going to be on the NFL Network.
Yeah, we'll have some more content here, because y'all know I don't watch college football. I know Bob is, I don't know, you was watching college football. I know your favorite playmaker was in Miami. And I mean, Indiana went 16. I know I'm trying to rub it in, but I'm just saying, I don't even watch college football. I'm like, damn, they went undefeated. I just felt bad. I felt bad for Mike, because Mike couldn't put no belt to ass over there.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it was crazy. Again, it's like, it's interesting to me. I know there's a couple guys on the defense for the Canes that I want to get. I want Ruben Bain on our team badly.
Yeah.
It's just probably not going to really happen, but it's to me, I'm learning more and more about how it feeds the NFL, especially with the portal that they've got over there, which is basically free agency for college. It really is making things a little bit more interesting, and it's making teams have the ability to get better, which is just going to make the NFL hopefully better, because it's really all about the NCAA is just about making them NFL ready, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and there's a couple of players that was supposed to be ready to go in this year's draft, but they decided to recommit to their respective school. So they're going to be coming in the in the 2027 draft, because that's the one when I say everybody and their mama on both sides of the ball will be coming out of next year's draft. It's going to be a lot of quarterbacks. It's going to be a lot of wide receivers. This draft basically is very top heavy with defense. And you're going to see, and one thing I can say, in the first 8 to 9 picks, you're going to be seeing a lot of defensive edges coming off of the board very early. So Reuben Bain and David Bailey, they're not. I don't see them going past the first round. Not the first round, the first few picks. So that's what I'm saying. Like that, we're at a soft spot when it comes to that 12th pick, because it's going to be a lot of safeties and a lot of cornerbacks. Right, we're at a good sweet spot. But that 20th pick, that's what I'm saying. That's our trade equity where we can wheel and deal. So if one of them teams want to come in, let's say whoever wins the Super Bowl, just throw me two teams on each side.
Well, you just tell
Seattle and the Broncos.
Okay, so let's say
I want your late first and a couple of your seconds.
Yeah. So let's say like better chance we go. So here's the thing with Jeremiah Love. I like Jeremiah Love and his partner that's in Notre Dame. I don't see, they're not going to go in the first round. I see them as a day 2. They're going to be more so like a day 2 pick.
And we'll be getting more into depth with that here as we get ready to kick off the podcast.
Yeah, but like you said the Broncos and
Seattle.
So let's say those the Super Bowl teams, and let's say Seattle wins. So they have the 32nd pick. But Seattle they have their eye on a player that has not been picked by the time it's like pick 17, pick 18, and we're pick 20. They could get on the call and say, hey, Dallas, it's a player that's still on the board that we need for this position, and we need to fill this position right then and there. I'll give you our 32nd pick and our second round or our third round pick. That's how we could get back into the second and the third round. So that's what I'm saying. That 20th pick is our trade equity. I would not give them our 12th. The only way I would give some team our 12th pick is if the top players that's on our boards is taken before we even pick.
Well, we'll be getting into the weeds of that per se, right, Bob? The Cannabis Cowboy coming up here on February 15th as we kick off our first edition of Position Predictions. 11 episodes. We're going to have some special guests. Bob will be joining us on the first episode. We've already got our guy Smack Talk. Shout out to my guy Casey on Facebook with Smack Talk Nation. He'll be joining us for episode 2 as we talk about BPA, about all of the draft scenarios that are going down, as you heard Kels allude a lot to that today. So if you didn't know why the Cowboys hired Christian Parker today, is because everything that Bob and Kels had here to say today, and it's the new Big 3 in the Big D. And we appreciate y'all joining us because y'all know every time we get around the light switch and Dandy Don is in the room, we'll see y'all in the gym on the next episode.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.